In the midst of her travels far, far away, Pauline scrambled to find a short-term rental in Portland. She scrolled through Airbnb before landing on a place in the Pearl District.
There were certain things that I really wanted. I wanted a washer and dryer.
The small apartment inside Pearl Studios would be home base for about a month while in town for business. But first, the Airbnb host, a company called Landing, asked her to fill out some background information.
I was rerouted. This looked like a good place. I was rerouted to a third-party page or something.
Pauline, who asked us not to use her last name, stayed at the Portland apartment through October, paid her bill, and then moved on. 4 months later, she got a call from a collections agency claiming she owed $143 for an old utility bill.
And I said, that's not possible. I've never had a utility bill in Portland. I said, what's the address? And they give me the address. Lo and behold, it's the Pearl.
Pauline tried clearing things up with Airbnb, the host, Landing, and the apartment complex, but no one seemed to have any clear answers. In a March 27th email obtained by KGW, the property manager wrote, "I have another person in collections that should not be," suggesting this wasn't a one-time mistake.
I give Airbnb my money. Airbnb handles everything else. I've never had any issues. I've never owed anything. But if I were to, I would handle that through, presumably, right, through Airbnb, pay my host. All financial transactions are Airbnb.
A spokesperson for Airbnb said, "This is not an experience we want any guest to have," adding, "Our review found this was a clerical system error by the host that they corrected in April." The company that manages the apartment also apologized and admitted it was an error in the software that mistakenly sent a total of 3 guests to collections. The problem has been fixed, the company said, and Pauline is no longer on the hook for that unpaid utility bill. She's no longer in collections. But a closer look revealed there's a bigger issue here. Landing has more than 1,500 Airbnb listings across the country, which require that guests pass Clear ID verification, a background check, a soft credit check, and disclose their Social Security number.
I'd never heard of Airbnb taking Social Security numbers.
Airbnb's written policies appear to prohibit some of the screening practices described in Landing's listings. Airbnb says hosts can't ask guests for contact information after a booking in order to run credit or background checks.
Well, you'd hope that Airbnb would enforce their own rules.
In an email to KGW, Landing said it complies with applicable federal transparency requirements, including those established by the Federal Trade Commission, as well as the policies of the platforms through which it operates, including Airbnb. What started as a collections mistake revealed a larger system that many Airbnb guests may not realize they're entering, where some hosts operate more like landlords, requiring sensitive personal information and shifting parts of the screening and billing process outside the Airbnb platform.
I don't think that this should happen to anyone else.
Airbnb says it is reviewing Landing's screening practices to determine whether they violate company policy. Airbnb refunded all of Pauline's money for the short-term rental in Portland. But she worries about the impact this mistake might have on her credit going forward and wonders, what if she hadn't caught it and pushed back with repeated phone calls and messages?